Thanks for checking another video, guys. Today I am replacing my front and rear brakes. I'm going to be doing pads and rotors. I got all new PowerStop brakes going on, so pads and rotors. I'm a little past due on these. I've been driving on them for a while after they started making some uncomfortable noises, and on a couple of the wheels there's some brown dust that I'm assuming is rust. So I'm probably past the pad material on a couple of these, so potentially not good. But like I said, all new stuff going on, so I'm not too worried about it. Now, because brakes and brake parts are notorious for being hard to remove and stuck on there, I went out and bought a brand new impact wrench. And this is going to make getting these parts off a lot easier. Still have a breaker bar just in case, but having an impact will make things much easier. So I knew I was going to be able to afford this because I knew you'd come to the video and click the like button. So go ahead and do that right now, the like button. And if you click subscribe, I'll even let you leave a comment about how I should use Milwaukee tools because they're better. Everybody loves a good heckle. Let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take off these slide pin bolts. They are a 13 millimeter, and they should come off pretty easily, and that's going to allow the caliper to come off. Notice how these brake pads have these little ears on the back, and this one doesn't. So some brake pads will have these ears, and if your brake pads have them, those need to go on the inside of the brake caliper. My new brake pads do not have that. They're universal. They go on either side, so it doesn't matter. But if you do have these ears, you need to make sure they go on the inside. Now is as good a time as any to remove these clips. I'm going to do that while I'm thinking about it. Alright, so now we can remove the caliper mounting bracket. This is going to be a 21 millimeter bolt on the backside. It's important to notice, see there's a thread locker on these bolts. Make sure you put new thread locker on these when you reinstall. That's a lesson I've learned the hard way, and you don't want to. Nope, doesn't seem to be doing the trick. Okay. Then I'm going to slide my in here. All right, grab the head of this. You can hear it breaking free. As that bolt pushes on it, it'll eventually become free. There it is. Just like that. So I'm installing drilled and slotted rotors, which means they are side specific. So they've labeled it for me. Front driver's side. All right. Now I'm just gonna get these started by hand. Remember what I said about that thread locker, so I'm just gonna get these started and then I'll apply the thread locker. So I'm using this Loctite thread locker, and I know what you're saying, oh no, don't use the red Loctite. It's blue. They just put it in the red container because they like to watch the world burn. I don't know why they do this to me, but blue 242 is what I'm using. It's removable so that when you come in next time, you don't have too much of an issue. But just a little bit of that on the caliper mounting bolts. Now the torque spec for these bolts is about, I believe I read 184 foot-pounds, which translates roughly to 5 ooga-doogas. So we're going to go and tighten those down. There we go, 5 ooga-doogas. So now I'm going to take some brake grease and grease up my slide pins. And just put a little bit of it on these slide pins here. And then just kind of work it in and then just pop it back on. Do that for the top and bottom and you'll be good. Don't mind the sticker, it's a paper sticker and it's just a pain to get off, so either it'll just wear off on its own in the rain or maybe I'll take some brake cleaning trying to get it off later, but just peeling it off it just tears, so I'm not worried about it right now. Alright, so we're going to get some new brake hardware on there and it'll just click in just like that. You want to put this small tab side in first and then it'll just click in. Alright, so I'm going to take our new brake pad and I'm going to apply a little bit of grease where the pad interfaces with that hardware that we just put in. Basically anywhere there's metal on metal. And some people do, some people don't put the metal on this backing plate. This metal backing plate is supposed to prevent some squeaking and stuff, but the instructions for these brake pads do say to put some grease here, so I'm going to. And you just need to put it where it's going to contact the caliper, so you don't need to cover the whole thing, but that's what I'm going to do right there. And then these just slide in, push down a little bit, and they will pop right in. Just like that. And then we'll do the backside. Remember how I said those brake pads had the ears? These ones do not. If you do have the brake pads with the ears, it needs to go on the inside. Oh, looks like my ooga-dooga conversions are just about spot on. All right. So if you have the electronic parking brake like I do, there's a special procedure you have to do before you do the rear brakes. That is put the parking brake in maintenance mode. So what you're going to do is turn the ignition on, do not start the vehicle. You're going to push the parking brake button, put the gas pedal in all the way, turn the ignition off, and then turn it back on without starting the vehicle. Hold all this down, and then it will tell you that the vehicle is in maintenance mode. So, bit of a bummer. I ordered the wrong rotors. These are for the manual parking brake. They're much deeper because of the way the manual parking brake works. The electric parking brake has a much shallower rotor. So I'm gonna have to call PowerStop and see if they can help me out. It's Sunday, so I can't call today. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna leave this rotor on here, and it's, oh my goodness, it is bad. I'm just gonna leave this rotor on here, replace the pads, try not to drive this too much, and talk to PowerStop on Monday and see what they can do for me, and then I'll put new rotors on here eventually. Alright, just be careful because there's a wire connected here. That's for the electric parking brake. Just set this to the side. And it's a similar procedure as to the front. They look a little different, but it's more or less the same. We're just going to pop these out. Just like that. I'm going to pull these. And if you were replacing the rotor, again, 2 bolts on the back, use some Loctite, new rotor. I'm not going to do that right now. Okay, that's in. We're going to do the slide pins next. How about that sound? Okay. All right, last one. Get this caliper back on. It's kind of a pain to get these from PowerStop. Had to deal with their customer service, and it wasn't fantastic. But I did eventually get them once we got it figured out. Then we'll throw these brand new rotors on, and then we're going to be done. That's all we've been waiting on. Then I can get that wheel back on, and this will be good to go. So let's do that. Lug nuts. Where in the world did I put them? So I knew at least one of these had to be bad, and all of this built up junk right here tells me it was this one, and when we pull out these pads, I'm sure that's exactly what we're going to find. But as you can see, this one is clear down to metal, which probably means that these slide pins also are sticking a little bit and need to be greased, since there's uneven pad wear on either side. So we'll make sure to apply plenty of grease to these, make sure they're in good condition before we put them on, and we'll clean this up a little bit just so it's not so gross. But there's the bad one. I knew there'd be at least one. Okay, so the last thing we have to do is get in the truck and actually break in the pads. And before we do that, actually, we are going to just get in and pump the brakes several times without moving, and that's just going to kind of close the gap that we created when we compressed the cylinders on the caliper. So we're going to just make sure that we've got fluid in the calipers and that they are seated against the brake rotors, and we're going to follow this break-in procedure. It looks pretty straightforward. 5 aggressive decelerations from 40 to 10 miles per hour, 3 moderate decelerations from 35 to 5, and then a 5-minute cool down period. So it's been a few weeks, and I just wanted to give you guys a bit of an update. Just real quick, I'm just using my phone, but these brakes have been great. I haven't done anything crazy with them. I haven't towed or anything, but just driving around, they feel good. They stop well, and they've all broken in very well. No noises or anything weird like that. So I used to have some pulsating in my brake pedal, which I assumed was a warped rotor, and of course putting new rotors on did fix that, so everything feels good. The brake fluid still looks good and everything, so I'm not going to change that right now, but down the road I probably should. But yeah, they all went on well, and happy with them. They're working great. So thanks for watching, guys. If you haven't already, go ahead and get subscribed if you want to see more videos like this, and click the like button if you like this video. Thanks, guys.